Hi, my name is Pip. I'm the owner of little Rafael. Rafael is a rescue dog that I adopted 6 weeks ago from Canberra Rescue. This wiggly little worm was almost 13 weeks when I adopted him. He and his brother Fudge were the last two of the Snacks litter to be adopted. It had been about 6 months since I had had a dog. My beloved dog Marley had died in June of 2021 after 15 and a half years together. I've never really lived without a dog, so I was more than ready to have one in my life again, and I was looking on pet rescue websites to try and find the right dog for me, which was difficult with COVID because a lot of places weren't doing meet and greets with the pups, and I had only ever met a dog in person and then decided, yes, you're the one for me. Rafa was originally called Churro. He was part of the Snacks litter that were rescued by Canberra Rescue. Their mum, Indy, is a Kelpie cross lab, and she was about 1 year old and heavily pregnant when the police came to the home that she was living in to break up a domestic violence situation and to take the male partner away. Unfortunately, what then happened was the heavily pregnant Indy was left alone in the apartment without food for at least a week, and we think it was more like 10 days. Eventually, one of the people in this family came back and took Indy to their parents' house, where she gave birth to 8 healthy puppies. Because Indy hadn't had food for 10 days, and she now was living in a situation where they couldn't really afford to feed her and 8 puppies, she didn't really have enough milk for the puppies. So the puppies really damaged her teats, and she had bleeding teats because they were starving, and she really was starving herself. At some point after Indy had the puppies, we think she raided the garbage bin, and as a result, she and all the puppies ended up with bad stomach infections. Canberra Rescue stepped in and took on the dogs at the request of the owners and rescued all 8 puppies and Indy. 8 puppies is a lot of puppies, and poor Indy is really a puppy herself. She's only a year old, and she had 8 puppies to deal with. This was a mammoth task for Canberra Rescue. They were taking on 8 puppies, 9 really, because Indy was only 1 year old herself and she's still really a pup. But to take on 9 dogs with diarrhea for weeks is a huge ask. And especially during COVID, when it's more difficult for people to socialize, to get to the vets, to assist with volunteer work, and yet Canberra Rescue somehow managed to do it. The huge family of 8 puppies and Indy needed 32 volunteers to help out, and they really needed those 32 volunteers because with a bad stomach infection in 9 dogs, everything needed to be disinfected all the time. And as you can imagine, with that many dogs that aren't toilet trained, that aren't well, there was a lot of cleanup to do every single day. It took a few days to decide on a name for Raf. When I adopted him, his adoptive name was Churro, which was not something I was keen to stick with, but he was part of the Snacks litter. They all had food-related names. We had Churro, Pudding, Fudge, Oreo, Sherbet, Skittles, Fantail, and Lolly. They were all adopted out around 10 to 12 weeks of age. I got Rafa when he was 12 and a half weeks, and at that point he was about 9 kilos. And we're at about 18 weeks old now, and he is 16.2 kilos. I know some people have stuck with the rescue name, but I wasn't that keen on churros. I'm wheat intolerant and I don't like churros as a snack, so I didn't think it was a great name for a dog for me. And I had a short list of names and Rafa wasn't even on it, but he really likes watching the tennis. He parks himself in front of the TV and watches really closely. We are obviously Team Nadal in this house. One of his favorite spots to pee during toilet training time is this signed Rafa Nadal shirt beside me, and he would pee on the floor just in front of it. I don't know why, but I took it as a sign. And also Rafael means God has healed, which seemed appropriate given that I was and probably will always be heartbroken over the loss of Marley. When I met Rafa, we were doing a contactless transfer of ownership because of COVID. So Rafa was waiting for me in a cage. When I opened the door to take Rafa out of his crate, he was very, very calm, and he just sat down, leant forward and pressed his forehead against mine, and then gave my hand a little lick and then leapt out into my arms. It was really kind of a lovely moment to have, and I was a little bit nervous because I'd only ever seen him over FaceTime. I'd never met him face to face, and I had committed to 15 plus years with this dog that I've never met. I live 3 hours away from Canberra on the south coast of New South Wales, and so Rafa and I then made our way back home, and it was a little bit of a bumpy ride, but we got used to each other over the next few days, and the bond was there pretty much straight away. He would snuggle up into my shoulder at night, and he would follow me around like a little shadow. We've been working on lead training, basic obedience training, and just recently he's started having off-leash time at the local dog beach during peak dog hour, which has been interesting. It's certainly been some fun for him, and he has really enjoyed it. Is that super tasty? Looking after a puppy by myself has certainly been a lot of work, and it has taken a lot of focus, and we've been doing a lot of practice together, and we both need to do some learning, and I'm sure that that will continue for a long time. But like, when I think about what it must have been like to have 8 sick puppies and to be looking after them all the time, it's crazy how much work that must have been. There are many rescue groups in Australia that still do convenience killings, and potentially these puppies would have been at risk because there are so many of them, and because they were so sick and required so much work. The fact that Canberra Rescue stepped in and have paid the veterinary bills for so many dogs and nursed them back to health and got them happy, healthy homes, it's pretty incredible. There's no way that their adoption fee could cover all their veterinary bills, and that's why it's really important to support local rescue groups, especially ones you know who are acting ethically. Because little guys like this need a home, and they deserve a loving home, regardless of what their start was in life. Later today, Rafa and I will actually be driving back to Canberra for the first time since he was adopted. Canberra Rescue have organised a little family get-together for those who can make it or who live locally, and I thought it might be nice to take little Riff Raff back to meet his family and see how everyone's settled into life after being adopted. So it should be lovely to see the puppies all together again and having fun together at the park, and to meet the other parents of the snacks litter. If you are looking to add to your family, please check out your local animal shelters and your local rescue groups. There are so many beautiful dogs of all different ages and breeds that are looking for their forever homes, and you never know, you might find your very best friend. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like it and subscribe to this channel for more content. You can check out Rafa's day-to-day activities on his Instagram page at Rafa to the Rescue. A big shout out to Canberra Rescue and all the volunteers that assisted in getting the snacks litter back on the road to health and getting them ready for adoption and rescuing them from a very bumpy start to life.